grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety splicket, go watch a movie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Go Watch a Movie, episode 188. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
That was me not breathing. Because today we are doing Don't Breathe 2. But before we get into that, a little bit of entertainment news. The FX chief came out a little bit ago about the tone and the date for the new Alien TV series. Yes, that Alien. Won't be out until about 2023, but they said they want to get it right. So there could be a possible delay even longer than that, which makes me happy that they're actually, trying. As far as the tone, he said, I think Noah, who is the writer-director, is very cautious about the fact that there's a cinematic universe. There's some connections and originality that is uniquely Noah, but I think you'll also see that the show will feel a lot like part of the cinematic universe you're familiar with in terms of Alien. So I love this franchise to death. I've read all the novels that I think I've read all the novels. They keep putting them out. I love all the movies, and I know it's very different when you rewatch some of them. Part 1 still holds up big time. 2 is amazing. Very different from part 1, which was kind of like the horror element. And then, we don't get to talk about the other ones. And they keep making them, But I love this franchise, and I do want to see it survive. And I'm very interested to see what they do with the television show, because you're gonna have to make a new protagonist that kind of matches Ripley that we want to watch every week.
Well, you're never gonna get to that level, though. I don't think.
I agree.
Not for me, anyway.
Is this something you would check out, though?
So I would definitely check it out because I am also a fan. I haven't read the books, but I love the movies. I love the style of the aliens. But I gotta say, I think I'm old, or just not getting in with the times. It just seems weird how like all these movie universes are starting to bleed over into the TV universes, or the TV universes are becoming movie universes, and I just want one or the other kind of. I just want to be able to enjoy my movies, and I just wish they would continue on as movies. But as a show, I feel like now I'm going to be invested in just these tiny groups of characters instead of being able to branch out into a whole new universe. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm going to watch it. Maybe I'm just being old and grumpy and stubborn, but yeah, I kind of just want to see movies.
I understand. It's it is a little rough, because especially the way Disney's doing it now, to where you're gonna have to watch their Disney Plus shows or be in the know of entertainment news to know who the fuck's this guy. Because if you haven't watched, Captain America: Winter Soldier, when Captain America 4 comes out, you're gonna be like, when did he become Captain America Falcon guy? So and then you're gonna really be lost if you didn't watch Loki, because it just fucking changed everything. So so it's gonna be it is weird. It is. I think it fits with them because of the way they handle their universe, but with other stuff, you're right. It is gonna, because we've already seen it fail in some instances. The Clarice show for Hannibal didn't really quite work for people. So and there's other examples of it. And there's going to be a Chucky show that continues on its past movies, and we'll see, man.
Doesn't it feel like too much? I mean, I feel like it's too much.
My brain is already overwhelmed with a lot. So
And then they're going to sync it up with the books. I mean, it'll be like a book you have to read to be able to understand what's going on in the movie. Then it'll be a comic book. If you don't read this, these 3 comic books, you won't know what's happening in that movie, which connects to this show. And then I'm like, oh, what? I don't know. I just want, just one thing.
Yeah.
Now I feel like the alien. Yeah, exactly. I feel like the alien universe belongs on the big screen.
Yeah. It
just feels right. Just think of all that open space and you're looking up at that giant screen. It just feels right.
And love or hate the newer ones, they have a very epic tone, like Prometheus and even the one after that. Like they feel big. They just So yeah, we'll see. I agree with you. Free Guy. Have you seen this one?
I have not seen it yet.
Ryan, he's a video game NPC, non-player character who realizes what he is, and the hilarities ensue from there. Well, actually, I guess he doesn't realize what he is, so that's the whole point of it. He thinks he's normal, and the players are normal. So, but yeah, it is already getting a sequel on the way.
Wow. Alrighty then.
Yeah, I guess it did. It did very well in this dark age of film. Not the films themselves are dark, but just it's hard to get people to go out right now for obvious reasons. And this one got pushed back a lot, and Ryan in his style joked lots about how it was pushed back. But yeah, it's already getting a sequel, and it's only 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old. I guess you have to move fast.
Yeah.
After I've seen this one, and I don't think it needs one. I think it will work fine as a standalone. But
if they see dollar signs.
Yeah, that's how that goes, I guess. Yeah, that'll bring us to trailers. You first to me, sir.
Go right ahead.
I saw a trailer that's going to Apple TV, and I apologize for doing so many Apple TV trailers because I don't even have Apple TV. But it's called The Colony. This one caught my attention because there's a lot of things called The Colony. First and foremost, I'm like, oh, is this different from the Colony show and the Colony movie? But it is. Yeah, it's not so different, but basically, we left Earth because we used up all the resources. That old story. But apparently, being able to reproduce is something that is lost now amongst humans. So they send someone back down to Earth to check out these colonies to see if they've discovered something. At least that's what I gather from the trailer. And at first, it seems like no, they haven't yet, but they are on the verge of it. But it goes a little deeper because this person sent down to, and her name's Nora. I can't pronounce her last name. Sent down to find these colonies. Suddenly finds another set of humans who actually have children with them. But the surviving colonists call them lumps and says they're savages and they don't really, but so now she's torn because she wants to discover why they can have kids. But she has her duty with this, the normal people. So it's pretty cool looking sci-fi. We'll see how that works. Colony.
Yeah, that definitely sounds interesting. Mine, you've probably no surprise to you because I mentioned it to you earlier. Nick Cage, he's got another movie coming up, y'all. This one's called Prisoners of the Ghostland, and he basically plays a cross between, I want to say, Mad Max and himself. And he's recruited by this guy. I don't know if he's like a mob boss or some kind. I don't know what he is, but he's like the leader of this group of people. And he's like, so I think my daughter has disappeared in the Ghostland, and nobody ever comes out of the Ghostland. But you're like this super soldier type badass, and I need you to go in and get her, and I'm going to attach all these bombs to you. And so if you, try to run or you don't bring her back in time in 5 days, I'm going to blow you up. So he's like, okay. So then you watch the rest of the trailer and you're like, holy crap, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. You see people in all these different costumes running around. It looks like it reminds me of Mad Max for some reason, but like it's kind of more surreal and crazy and with more zany characters. And then if you find out later that the girl isn't really like a prisoner of the Ghostland, but she's gone there by choice for some reason, maybe to get away from her crazy dad. I don't know. But anyway, it just looks outstanding. I think Nick said this is like one of the weirdest or the craziest movies he's ever made, something to that effect. Not a perfect quote.
Which is saying something.
Yeah, but because he's been in some doozies, so It just looks really fun, and it's Nick Cage, and I've grown to enjoy most of what I see him in. So that's my trailer, Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Yeah, I saw this one. It looks pretty nutty, and I'm excited for it. I really am. That'll bring us to Don't Breathe 2. Watchbot, if you would not mind.
A blind veteran must use his military training to save a young orphan from a group of thugs who break into his home.
I think we did Don't Breathe. I'm pretty sure we did. And 5 years later, they decide to make a sequel to Don't Breathe. Well, I think they shouldn't have.
Oh no.
I really enjoyed what they did with the first one. You had to walk this tightrope of like these people are breaking into this man's house. He's defending himself, but then you get spoilers. Then you get this extra layer of, oh wait, this man is not who he seems to be. He's not just a blind old man, defending veteran. He's a fucking creep. And so now you don't know who to root for. I guess some people chose the burglars, but I guess maybe even the prisoners as well. Most people probably chose the prisoners, but it's just it's a lot of detail, very well done. The setting's great. This one, I feel like at first they tried to recapture that, and then it just went somewhere I don't know. Just don't know where. But what are your initial thoughts?
I'm on the opposite side.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed this, not because, well, first off, I don't think this has the same feel as the first movie. The first movie is its own thing. And as a standalone movie, yes, it can succeed as a standalone movie. But I don't mind that they wanted to complete the story of this character, because the movie does kind of leave you like, wondering what happens. Because he's still out there. And then, people got away. Some people got away, but you don't know, what's next, what's going to happen next. So I'm glad that they at least completed the story for him. It feels like they closed the chapter on it. Like, I don't think I have an idea for Don't Breathe 3, but I'm going to tell you, but I don't think we're not going to get another one of these because of the way this movie ends. So I think I kind of enjoyed the completion of it. Plus it's a really good, like, suspenseful, actiony, horror-esque type movie. There's not a whole lot of character development because I think that was left of the first movie, but I do like some of the directions that they went with this one. They do, and they give you some surprises, just like the first one gave you. So it's not just a dull, bunch of fist fights, and then it's over.
Whose idea was it to give this psychopath a child? Is he like? Because my mind goes places because I've seen what this man is capable of. Was his plan to raise her up until she's of ripe age to do what he was doing to those other people?
No, I didn't get that impression at all. I mean, from the first one, he obviously lost a daughter, and he
sent him off the rails.
That tore him apart, and he sunk into a loneliness that basically drove him mad, and he did some horrible things, which they mention in the second movie towards the end. He admits to his wrongdoings. And then after losing that child, he went through any means basically to get a daughter back so that he wasn't alone, so he could recapture something that he had lost. The wrong way, obviously, but still, that's what he was going for.
Way wrong way, because he did things to those girls.
Mm-hmm. But so in this one, he just happens to find one. He's like, oh, there's a girl in there. So of course he's gonna pick her up and then try to raise her as his own. I mean, it makes perfect. I know it sounds ridiculous, but for movie's sake, we just gotta accept it. Here's a little girl. Hey, wait. Yep.
Mine now.
Finders keepers.
Yeah, I don't know what part it lost me at, but it just, I guess I was thinking back too heavily on how much I enjoyed the first one, and I don't know, man.
I'm also glad that they didn't just try to redo the first one.
Yes,
this wasn't just. It would have been. It would have been kind of.
Well, they kind of did with that first portion. Well, mid portion when the people broke in, like it was kind of a rehash of the first one. Only these guys were well trained and
mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, but you didn't know who to root for, though. I mean, at this point in it, so you're thinking these guys are bad. I mean, the guy's obviously bad, but he's been kind of, sort of doing a good thing by raising the girl in a creepy way, I guess. But still, you're like, so who do you root for? You know, they kind of made him the anti-hero. But I mean, ultimately, the girl was the only person that was the only good, actual character.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're only basically rooting for her, but she doesn't know what's going on either.
So I'm going to tell you, there were some kids who were causing a ruckus. They got totaled like twice or whatever in my theater. Because we do practice what we preach. We did go watch a movie for this one, but they were causing ruckus and stuff in my theater, and they almost, well, no, I almost did the same thing they did at a certain part. When the twist, I think that you were getting at, when he revealed that, tell him, or should I tell him, I'm your pappy, basically. Mm-hmm. they're like my hands clutched the seat to almost push myself up to get out. And then they're like, this is the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. I'm out. Like, well, I don't want to get copycats. I'm just going to sit here.
So you didn't like the part when the dad revealed that he was really her dad?
No. Really? Because he was very creepy to her when he met her in the fucking
But it gets worse though. And when you find out why they're really after her, it gets even worse. But you don't get, at first you're like, wait, the creepy guys are dead? So I guess it's okay, right? So it confuses you. So you don't know what to think. And then you find out later, okay, so the blonde guy's a bad guy, blah, blah, blah. We already knew that. But he's kind of a good guy, but he's still a bad guy because the dad's still alive and everything that he told her was a lie. So now the dad's like, yeah, I'm your dad. And she's like, okay. And then she's like, what about my mom? And then, I don't know. Maybe you should, I'm not holding you prisoner. Maybe you should just leave. And she gets up to leave. And then she hears the song and she's like, oh, my mom. And then you find out, oh my God, it's a big happy family again. But they're all like, druggies and they,
The mom rolling out was another part because it was just so awkward. Oh, she's singing the song that the little girl remembers from her youth.
But you didn't like the point that the old man had, told her all these lies. I don't know if he actually knew that they were alive or not. Maybe he thought they were dead. It's
I think he just found her and didn't care. And then
because he was blind. He should have been able to smell the smoke, though, because he's blind. Yeah. He's got heightened senses, so he knows something happened, and that he was probably maybe rescuing her and capturing her at the same time. It's like saving you, but I'm kidnapping you at the same time. Yeah. But I like that because
I was also sad that the bug pest lady or plant lady, whatever she was, plant lady, I'm assuming. I hated that she died because she was the only one who was reasonable.
That confused the heck out of me because I'm thinking, okay, these guys are bad guys. They kill her, But then you find out that no, that's really the dad, and he was just trying to get his daughter back. So you're confused. You're like, wait a second, but they're murderers. They just went and killed this other lady for no reason.
Yeah,
They could have just told. They could have just told. They could have told her, be like, hey, you know what? That girl, I'm the real dad, and that guy's a creeper. And then she would have been like, oh yeah, they would have. She would have been like, she would have worked with them probably to get her out of there. But instead, they kill her.
Psychopaths who block the road and set up traps.
And you find out. And you find out to what degree. I mean, they're not just people who like, they're not just out there making drugs, right? And then selling drugs. And they're even more, vile.
They partnered up with this, what was he, an escaped organ stealer or whatever?
Something. Yeah. Yeah. And then they're like, so this is the real reason why we knew you were alive, I guess, somehow. I don't know how. But the real reason why we came to rescue you is because we need to rip your heart out and put it in your mom's. It's like, huh? So then you find out.
Because it doesn't quite add up how they even knew she was alive, because he clearly doesn't let her out that often. So there's that one moment in the bathroom where he was possibly going to rape her that he was like, oh, wait, that's my daughter.
It's confusing. The story doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So ridiculous. But yeah, so that's the movie.
But yeah, then the whole, actually we need you because we're gonna fucking rip your heart out. Use your child baby heart to pump into your mother.
Yep.
Does it work that way? Can
Apparently,
you use a kid heart for it?
It doesn't seem like it. She was pretty thin and sickly, so maybe that's all she needed was just that little tiny heart. Super weird. But I like the twist though that he's not. You think they're bad, but then you're like, oh no, he's not bad. He's a dad. But then you find out, oh no, he's actually still bad. Yeah. So then you're rooting for the blonde guy who's a kidnapper and a rapist and everything else again. That saved the girl
who essentially lost at every turn. He would have been dead like 3 or 4 times in this movie if not for other people intervening. But I guess he is getting up there in age, so it makes sense.
I was sad when the dog died in the beginning.
Me too.
But I was
he got
happy.
himself another dog.
Yeah, I was happy,
which they kind of forget about.
Yeah, I was happy he found a new friend.
Because she's not gonna be able to move that thing to let that dog out of there.
Mm-hmm.
The dog's just gonna die in a hole. Oh gosh.
I gotta mention the ending though. I do like. I'm sorry, I'm ruining it for everybody, but I do like that he's finally he admits to his foster.
Can I say one thing before that though?
Yes.
So before this ending, there's a fight scene, a big, massive fight scene between the two main liar, horrible people, and to get this thing started off, he opens up several cans of pesticide, the foggers, and they somehow fight and live inside of, I don't know if you guys have ever fogged a house before and accidentally inhale a little bit before you run out of there. That stuff will kill you. You ain't fighting. You don't do anything in there. These guys are breathing, fighting, grunting, inhaling this pesticide foggers like nobody's business. Like it's just regular old smoke bomb cloud. What is happening here? I'm sorry. So that's okay.
Now that you mention it, yes. Like I said, there's a whole bunch in this movie that's confusing, but I'm letting the weirdness go just because I enjoyed the opposite delivery from the first one, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, so he admits to her that he's this horrible rapist, kidnapping killer, and says, "Get away from me! I saved you. Now get away from me because you can have a better life elsewhere." And she obviously doesn't really want to, but eventually has to. And I think that's kind of a good ending of this guy's story. I like that they ended it that way, that he finally gave in to, he was basically kind of crazy, to do all this stuff. And finally, through the process of, I guess, almost raising this girl, realized his faults and that he just needs to get away from her because he's more of a danger to her than, I guess, him. I don't know. I like that he was able to let go.
And she can have her lifelong dream of being in a foster home.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She just wanted to be around other kids. She wanted to be around other kids and have friends, and that was.
To me, that her whole goal was like, I'm gonna run away and be in a foster home.
She wanted friends. She didn't want to be in a foster home. She wanted friends. So I'm happy with that ending. And my idea for a sequel, dun 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 dun. So it's basically about her. She grows up. She's a teenager. She goes out camping or do whatever with some friends. They're out there partying, and these guys show up. Like, I don't know if they're ex-Marines or drug runners or what they are, but they they try to kill the kids because the kids saw them do something or kill somebody or who knows what, and they go in, they kill all the kids except for her, and then she's like, because she's had all this training from this guy, she's able to fight them off and do whatever. And that I want to call it My Name is Phoenix. My Name is Phoenix because that's what the name she chose at the end of the Don't Breathe 2 instead of Tara. And then a line that I want to have in the movie is like, she's like, "Are you scared, girl?" And she's going to be like, "No, I'm going to go blind man on you." And they're not going to know what that means, but we all will because we know who was in the first 2 movies. Yes, that's absurd, but it's just as absurd as the movie we just watched.
I love it.
I'm going to go blind man on you. Like, huh? We're not worried about a old blind man. You should be.
I love that she flipped out too with the ladies falling in the pool. That absurd scene where the wheelchair just kind of goes on its own. She did not want to fall in that pool. Oh my goodness. So many things in this movie that made me cringe in my seat.
I don't know. Maybe I think it was those cringeable moments is what made me enjoy it.
I mean, I'm happy that raping military guy. Yeah. No. What is all Rotten Tomatoes say about this?
Rotten Tomatoes is on board with you. The tomato meter is a 42%. Nice big green splat. However, the audience score is 86%.
Oh man, they're with you.
Yeah. Like I say, I don't know. I dumbed myself down and I just went in for the ride, and I kind of enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Man,
but I'm not. This isn't a standalone. You got to watch the first one because you need the contrast between the two, and you need to realize this is kind of like a completion of this guy's story. So
I mean, honestly, do you have to watch it to understand? Yeah, for that part to get like the satisfaction out of his last moments. Mm-hmm. Yes, but otherwise, do
you could just for the enjoyment of the action and the craziness, but I think you're going to get more out of it with the first because you get to actually see the horrible things that he, not just imply the horrible things that he's done, but actually see some of the
first one. And the first one's actually fantastic. I really enjoyed the first one. And may I mention the box? Like, why not put the box, the breathing part on the backside of the box? Why put that on top? Because that kind of defeats the purpose of all that safety. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Put it on the backside or the side. You don't want it like right up top there. I don't know. But go watch it now for you.
For me, yes, it was a fun action flick that added to a movie that came before that was amazing, and it completes the story for me.
Suspense horror, right?
Yeah, and it completes the story for me. So I'm happy that this the story of this guy, because before it was kind of left out in the open. You didn't know what was, which is not always a bad thing, but seeing some growth and some letting go and moving on with your life or lack of a life, whatever you want to call it, it just worked for me. So yeah, I liked it.
Even though you've given me new light about his intentions with that child, because that was my whole thing. I was just worried about what was going to happen to her if he got
he was not. He was treating her as an actual daughter. He wasn't going to do anything to her.
But I still go at your own risk. I wouldn't do it, but. No. I
think the first one ruined it for you because it was so amazing. I think you were like looking for that same level of a movie, and you just didn't get it. You just got something that was more blunt.
And with the main bad guy, well, the actual dad, there was a scene where he just went for it. He's like, Oh, go find the blind man. The rest of you go find him. It's like they got the henchman's like, "Oh, how many of us? All of you. You want the mouths."
Mhm.
In his mind, he's like, Oscar.
That's too much of a copy from another movie for me to like that moment.
It's just bad.
Yeah, Gary Oldman did it better in The Professional.
Yes. Yep. Oh God, yeah. Gary, that guy's it should be mentioned in Gary Oldman's.
Mhm.
Oh man, but that is episode 188. Don't Breathe 2. We're split on this one. You go at your own risk. Tell us right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, apparently the audience agree with Robert. So and I'm being one of the smelly, crotchety old critics right now. But
I completely understand why the critics don't like it. I mean, from a a critic standpoint, yeah, it's but I mean, you gotta. I mean, yeah,
for
just
fun, yeah.
have some fun.
I just when people, I'm going to try and recreate that. I'm going to try and find that brand of insect fogger and fight somebody
Don't
in
kill
it.
yourself.
You're gonna go. We're gonna go. But yeah, Don't Read 2, episode 188. Where you can find us, gowatchmovie.com, the one-stop shop for all things entertainment. The trailers are not there, but I will get them there. So the trailers are there. You by the time this goes out, I'll be there. The some news stories are there. The podcast is there, and the podcast can also be found anywhere a podcast can be played. That's all for today. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
No breathe. Sorry. Go watch the movie.
Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety split it. Go watch a movie.